All right, today we're going to dive into the core ideas from Tony Robbins' classic, Unlimited Power. And this isn't about just, fluffy motivation. This is about the actual science behind getting the results you really want out of life.
So, the whole thing kicks off with this huge question. And you've seen it, right? Somebody goes through the absolute worst, unimaginable stuff, and they come out stronger. And then you see someone else who has all the money, all the fame, every advantage you can think of, and their life just completely falls apart. So, what is it? What's the one thing that makes all the difference?
Okay, let's make this super real. On one side, you've got a guy named W. Mitchell. A truly horrific motorcycle accident leaves him burned over most of his body. Then, just a few years later, a plane crash paralyzes him from the waist down. And yet, he becomes a millionaire and an inspiration to so many. On the other side, John Belushi. The guy was on top of the world, one of the biggest comedy stars ever. He had literally everything we're told to want, and it all ended in tragedy. Same world, totally different stories. Why?
And here it is. This is the answer, at the heart of it all. It's not your circumstances. It's what you do about them. It all comes down to the conversations you have in your own head, the meaning you give to things. That's the real secret to personal power. It's not about trying to control the world outside of you. It's about mastering the world inside of you.
Okay, so mastering your mind sounds great, but how do you actually, do that? Well, Robbins says there's a huge shortcut, a way to basically accelerate the whole learning curve, and it's a concept called modeling.
I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. What if you didn't have to reinvent the wheel every single time you wanted to achieve something new? What if success leaves clues, like a trail of breadcrumbs, and all you had to do was follow them? Well, that's the whole promise of modeling.
You can think of modeling as reverse engineering success. Seriously, if someone is getting a result you want, whether that's being great with money, have an amazing relationship, or being super fit, it's not an accident. They're doing very specific things to get that result. Modeling is just the process of figuring out exactly what those things are so you can do them too and get similar results.
Now, this isn't just some vague idea. It's got a science behind it called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP for short. And all that really is the study of how our brain, that's the neuro, processes language, the linguistic, and how that creates our automatic behaviors, our programming. It's kind of like finding the user manual for your own brain.
So, to really model someone, you have to look at three key things. First is their belief system. What do they believe is true about the world, about themselves? Second is their mental syntax. That's just a fancy way of saying the way they think, the questions they ask, the order they think in. And third is their physiology. How do they use their body, their posture, their breathing, their facial expressions? If you can replicate these three things, you can replicate their results. But before any of that, you need the right fuel in the tank.
So yeah, before you can take any kind of action, you need the energy to actually do it. And that energy, that drive, it comes from your state, your mental and emotional condition at any given moment. This is literally the fuel for everything you do.
And we all know what these feel like, right? We can be in resourceful states, like feeling confident, passionate, joyful, and we feel like we can take on the world. Or we can be in unresourceful states, like fear, confusion, sadness, and we can barely get off the couch. The bottom line is, our behavior is always a direct result of the state we're in.
So where do these states come from? Are we just stuck with them? Absolutely not. It all comes down to two things that we can control. The first is our physiology, how we use our bodies. Stand up tall, breathe deep. You feel different? And the second is our internal representations, basically the pictures and the words we run through our minds. The incredible thing is, if you change just one of these, you instantly change your state.
So this is so important. If you want different results in your life, don't start by trying to force new actions. Start by changing your state. If you can learn to control your state, the right behaviors just kind of follow naturally. And, of course, when you change your behaviors, you're going to change your results.
We've covered modeling and state, but what's underneath it all? What's the foundation? It's the most powerful force there is, your beliefs. Think of your beliefs like the governor on an engine. They literally control how much of your own potential you're even allowed to use.
Take a look at this list, a string of what look like massive failures. Failed in business, lost a race, failed in business again, lost, 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 for decades. I mean, by any normal standard, this is a pretty terrible track record. So whose is it? It belongs to Abraham Lincoln. And this brings up a huge question. What if Lincoln didn't see any of those things as failures? What if he just saw them as results, as feedback, as a chance to learn something and get better for the next time?
That one tiny shift in perspective, it changes absolutely everything.
And this leads us to what might be one of the most powerful beliefs you can ever adopt. There is no such thing as failure. There are only results. Just let that sink in. If you truly believe that, you can't fail. You just produce an outcome you didn't want, you learn from it, you change your approach, and you try again. The fear of failure just disappears.
And this diagram here shows exactly how that works. It's a cycle. It all starts with your beliefs. Your beliefs determine how much of your true potential you actually tap into. That potential then drives the kind of actions you take. Those actions produce your results, and here's the most important part, those results feed all the way back and reinforce your original belief. This can be a vicious cycle that holds you back, or it can be a virtuous cycle that launches you forward.
The Roman poet Virgil just nailed this thousands of years ago. Belief isn't just some nice positive thought. It's a direct command to your entire nervous system. If you believe you can do something, your mind and body mobilize all their resources to make it happen. If you believe you can't, they shut all those resources down.
Okay, here's another belief that almost every high achiever shares. They believe that everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and that it serves them. Now, that doesn't mean everything that happens is good, but it means they look for the good in everything. They ask, what's the lesson here? What's the opportunity? This belief keeps them resourceful when most people would just give up.
And finally, this one is huge, the belief in taking responsibility. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It means taking responsibility for your response. The moment you stop blaming circumstances and take ownership of your reactions, you take all the power back. You're no longer a victim. You're the one in the driver's seat.
You know, Shakespeare summed all of this up perfectly. Events themselves don't have any meaning. They're just neutral. It's the thinking, the story we attach to them, our beliefs. That's what makes something good or bad, a roadblock or a stepping stone.
So, when you boil it all down, the ultimate message is this. You have a choice. You can let old programming, limiting beliefs, and random moods run your life on autopilot. Or you can step up, take the director's chair of your own mind, and consciously choose the beliefs, the states, and the strategies that will build the life you actually want.
Your mind is like an incredible movie studio. It has the power to produce any kind of film you want, from a tragedy to a comedy to an epic story of triumph. So the question these ideas really leave us with is a powerful one. Knowing that you're the director, what kind of movie are you going to choose to create?